Are you still tearing your hair out, searching for a program that's gonna get you stronger, but also put some muscle on your frame? You may have waited around in the world of power building before, but today we are going to review Calgary Barbell's third power building program and talk about why I think it might just be the best power building program I've ever done. Let's start with what is probably my favorite thing about this entire program, and that is variety in the programming of supplemental movements. Supplemental moves are what I define as the bodybuilding style movements in a powerlifting focused program. For example, you have your primaries. You got your squat, your bench, and your deadlift. Then you have accessory movements that are used in order to prop up those primary movements. You know, high bar squat, close grip bench, pause deadlift. Those are accessory movements. And those are usually programmed very similarly to the primary movements. The big problem in powerlifting or power building programming is when you arrive at the supplemental movements. A lot of people will just say, well, by the time I've gotten to the supplemental movements, I'm already burnt out in terms of energy, and I really don't see direct carryover from these supplemental movements to my primary lifts, so why should I even care? That leads to lazy programming, in which most of the time you're just going, yeah, 3 sets of 12 at RPE 8 with some cable push downs and some bicep curls and some rows. I should be totally fine. That's pretty good when we're talking about just getting a base under you. So if you're starting and you're a beginner and you see a program like that, that doesn't automatically make it bad. But what makes this program great is the amount of variety in programming the supplemental movements. You can really tell that Bryce at Calgary Barbell did a lot of work to make sure that you were going to get a lot of variety in terms of your rep schemes and rep ranges. He also throws in a lot of mile rep sets, which I think is really fantastic, something a lot of powerlifters don't have a lot of experience with. This is more a bodybuilding tool. A mile rep set, if you don't know, is when you hit a certain set at a certain amount of weight, let's say for 15, then you take about 5 to 6 breaths, and then you go again at a certain rep number, maybe it's 4 reps, until you absolutely fatigue out or reach the prescribed RPE. Now tell me that doesn't sound more fun than 3x8 at RPE 8 or just 4 sets of 10. Using these types of programming methods, whether it's mile rep sets or whether it's underwater sets or drop sets, can allow the lifter specifically to feel like they need to put as much effort into their supplemental movements as they do their primary movements. This can be a way to trick the lifter, for lack of a better word, into giving great effort on the supplemental movements, which is just going to overall bring up your primary moves. Now that we've hit a pro, we have to hit a con, because there are no perfect programs. And the biggest con that I have found with this program is having double primaries on the same day. Let's go to Powerlifting Dictionary Corner. Double primaries in this case means that you are doing your primary squat work and your primary bench press work on the same day. This is not a cardinal sin. Just because this is programmed this way does not automatically make this a bad program. I have found specifically in an off-season context, which when I'm reading power building, what I'm thinking is a lot of hypertrophy work, a lot of high volume work, more so suited to an off season and not very much a meet prep. In my mind, that means that we can take our primary squat, bench, and deadlift and put them on their own separate day. Now, this could just be a quirk of my own personal programming and my own personal biases, but I find that when you're doing primary squat work and primary bench press work specifically, the carryover that you're going to get from your low bar position, in your shoulders, and in your elbows is going to be detrimental to the actual progress that you can make on your bench press. The argument can be made that you are going to be squatting, benching, and deadlifting all on competition day. So shouldn't you get used to doing primary work of 2 or 3 of those lifts at the same time? Yes, I think that that is a totally valid opinion. However, I think that that is more suited, like I said, for a meet prep context in which the volume is a little bit lower, but your intensity might be a little bit higher. This could be personal bias, but I've found if I'm doing 3 heavy singles in squat, that fatigue really doesn't carry over as much in terms of shoulder and elbow pain than if I'm doing a lot of volume in squat and then I'm asked to do a lot of volume in my bench press. Personal biases aside, I do think that a lot of people can get away with this double primary work. It could just be that the way that my shoulders and elbows are, I'm almost 30, I'm kind of beat up, maybe I just can't handle it. So if you've run this program and you found the double primaries to be of value, please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion. Let's return now to the land of the positive and talk about another thing that I really liked on this program, and that is double top sets. Welcome back to Powerlifting Dictionary Corner. Today we're talking about double top sets. So what do I mean by this? Well, in this program, you are programmed a top single and then a top volume set for your primary work of the day. I think this is incredibly valuable. I think a lot of people hear the word power building and they throw out a lot of the powerlifting that you need to be doing. I am a huge fan of incorporating singles into a lot of your off-season training. I think at the end of the day, if you're gonna be competing in powerlifting, you need to be good at singles. And that is a different skill than being able to grind out a set of 6 or a set of 7. All of these things lead to a good meet. Yes, you need both. So why wouldn't you also use singles when you are programming your volume? In this program, it's done very intelligently and it works really well. You come in, you do your top single for the specific movement, and then you do your top volume set. Usually it's a 1x6 at between RPE 7 to 8.5, and then you do your back off volume. So not only are you getting an exposure to a single at a decently high intensity, usually around RPE 8, and then you're getting your exposure to your overall volume work, again, with decent intensity between RPE 7 and 8, 70% to 85% of your 1 rep max. You are getting the best of both worlds done very intelligently so as to not over fatigue yourself. Finally, let's touch on one thing that I don't really think is a con, but something that you may personally have to adjust in this program. There's not a ton of those supplemental accessories that we talked about. Some people need a little bit more volume or specific movements in their training to continue to see adaptation. I know for me personally, there wasn't a lot of vertical pulling, and that's something that I do very well, and that's something that I need a lot of volume on to continue to hold on to adaptations that I've made in the past. So I added a couple sets of lat pull downs or assisted pull-ups throughout the program. If you have a little bit more experience, you may be able to say, okay, I need to add some of this, or I'm going to lose some of the adaptations that I've already made. This is a fantastic program, one of the best power building programs that I've ever run. I think it hits the nail on the head in terms of keeping you equipped for powerlifting, doing singles, but also allowing you to build more muscle, to work on your volume tolerance. It's just a really solid program, and I recommend that you give it a shot. I haven't even touched on the value of the Calgary Barbell app that you get along with this program, but that's for another video. So make sure you're subscribed so that you can catch the full review of the Calgary Barbell app. Thank you so much for watching. If you have run this program, please comment and let me know what you thought. I'd love to get a dialogue going about this program down in the comments. If you're looking for a different power building program by another YouTube great, you can click on this video right here to learn all about Bull Mastiff, the program by Alexander Bromley. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. It means a lot to me that you showed up to this one. If you liked it, please give it a like, share it around. I'll see you in the next one. Get strong and stay strong.